Time now for the latest installment of the Daily Rant. Sarah Palin's been barnstorming the country, raising speculation that she's planning a run for the White House in 2012. This time at the top of the ticket. That should be fun. But our old friend Torre is not so sure. Take it away, Torre.
This week we learned Sarah Palin and her Spanx will be in Iowa later this month for the GOP's annual Reagan Day dinner. Palin visiting Iowa can only mean one thing. Palin is running for president, right? Wrong. I wish she were, because the value for America in terms of political theater would be better than anything since the last time she was campaigning.
You can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska. A team of mavericks, of independents, as a team member in this on this new team. I have a vast variety of sources where we get our news to. Alaska isn't a foreign country.
So, Katie, what newspapers do you read?
Anyway, stash your hopes for the most madcap, hysterical presidential campaign of all time, because I'm telling you, Palin is not running. She just wants people to think she's running. Being a potential presidential candidate gives Palin's brand a certain frisson, a heat it would lack if she were just a roving ex-governor with a limited vocabulary. Appearing to run makes her seem important, forces the media to cover her, and conveys the appearance that she's still a relevant politician. But appearing to run while actually not running is better for brand Palin. It allows her to say whatever she wants and seem courageous and heroic and full of that shooting from the hip integrity that candidates usually lack. That in turn makes her loved by her audience, and a more she could not sum it up if she had to compromise herself to win over the masses. Many candidates aren't as blah and boring as they seem. They just have to appear that way in order to win. So by not running, Palin's free to do her reality show, butt heads with David Letterman, and tweet things no serious presidential candidate ever would, and do it with the spelling and passion of a teenage girl. You gotta follow her on Twitter. Take, for example, this gem about Laura Schlesinger right after Laura resigned. I can't even fully read it. I'm not sure what Palin wanted Laura to reload. More N-words in her mouth? Whatever she had in mind, it doesn't sound presidential. But it does make Palin seem bold to those who love her. And she knows it's better to be loved intensely by some than kind of sort of liked by many. That's how you ride a raft of $100,000 speeches and $1 million a year from Fox News and a $7 million book advance into $13 million in 1 year. For her, running for president would be a pay cut. So Palin's flirting with the presidency to keep the presidency all hot and bothered and interested in her. But she'll never put out, because that's when the guy stops wanting you. And if her candidacy flops, the fling's over. Oh, Sarah's got more trickeration up her sleeve than we knew. Speaking of which, thanks to a salacious new profile in Vanity Fair, we know a lot more than we wanted to about what Sarah Louise Palin literally has up her sleeve. We're learning that she once told someone she was going to wear a push-up bra to a city council meeting to help her get what she wanted, and that the McCain campaign bought Palin many Spanx girdles. Now wait a minute. Media should not be reporting that. That's not fair. We can talk about her war on sentence structure or her selling anti-intellectualism as if it were a virtue, but talking about Palin's Spanx is tacky. It's beneath us as media. When you do a burlesque routine, you seduce and show some, but leave a lot to the imagination, as opposed to the all-out assault of epidermis and lycra you get at Sin City. Palin's been doing a presidential burlesque routine and bluffing about running for president, so getting her Spanx involved, it's just wrong.
All right, Torre, I love that for two reasons. One, that's actually a great point. Number two, we had our second favorite moment of the show when you went, right? Wrong. Okay. I'm going to replay that later on my DVR. All right, so listen, if this is all true, isn't she kind of brilliant?
There is something brilliant to this about the way she's playing the game. And look, I'm going to run, but she's not actually going to run. And she's having it both ways, and it's actually really smart. And you know what? She and her family are set up for life. If this all goes away when the actual campaign starts in 2012, she's good for many years.
Look, I know in the television world, radio world, etc., you get 1% of the country to listen to you, you're going to make a lot of money. In politics, you got to get 51% of the country to vote with you. Isn't it a much better racket to go for that 1% and make a killing? And if that's the case, then are we being totally unfair to her because maybe she's a hell of a lot smarter than the rest of us, having figured that out?
Well, I don't think we're being unfair because she is impacting people's minds and impacting voters, right? They're just not going to be able to vote for her, but later they'll be looking for, where can I get the rush that I got from Sarah Palin from these other candidates? So we're not being unfair. And people say, if you stop talking about her, she'll go away. No, that's not true. She has a dedicated army of people. It's small, but there is a community that loves her, and she will be with us for a while.